Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today we're answering your questions. It's a Ask the Pulpit episode. I like these. These are good. These are good. You guys get the calls in. It works out well. We get to have a little interaction. I have no idea what the hell you're going to ask me about. So, yeah, there's a little hint for you. If you're one of these guys calling in, I don't screen these calls. And so I have absolutely 100% no idea what I'm in for that. Now, that's not a challenge to you to do something extraordinarily wretched. Because just to catch you up if you're a newer listener. So way back when I was doing this, we had some calls. We had some questions that came in that were a little on the wretched side. Like, really on the wretched side. And so, what I did is, I established the Adam Protocol, and it's named after Adam, listener Adam, who called in with a particularly wretched question that I could not in good conscience answer. It was just too far, knowing that my dad listens to the show. It's like, there is a line, believe it or not, folks, there is a line. And so I established the Adam Protocol, and the Adam Protocol basically is my ability, my right as the host to veto a question. I have a little fancy little sound for it and everything like that. And so anyway, I haven't had to use it in a very long time. I hope to not have to use it. This is not me challenging you, okay? I'm not bringing any of this up as like a challenge. I'm bringing this up because, it's been a long time since I've had to use it, and I just want to refresh everybody on the rules. But anyway, you can call the hotline, area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. And you can call the hotline and call in with your comment, question, whatever it happens to be, and we can talk about stuff. But yes, that is the situation. That's what we're doing today. But we also need to get a cigar going, and I am looking up the cigar I'm smoking because I did not think to do that before I did this. Boy, it would be really nice if the website here would load up quickly. There we go. All right. So, guys, I'm going to be, because I'm just answering your questions and whatever else. It's a very laid-back episode here. I'm going with one of my go-tos. I'm going with a Perdomo Habano Sungrown Churchill. This cigar is a 7x54 Churchill, and it's a Nicaraguan Puro. Lots of spice. This website says smoked almond, oak, cedar, and cayenne pepper. Whatever. Okay. I'm not going to disagree. I'm just saying I get a nice, good, consistent flavor out of it, and I get that, I do get that pepper. I will say I do get the pepper out of this cigar. So, let's give this cigar a cut, and the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. Now, I am looking this up here real quick because I know they carry it. This cigar on 2guyscigars.com is $12.49 for the single. You can get a box for $249.99. And that is a box of 24. So $249.99 divided by 24. You're looking at $10.41, $10.42 with rounding. Rounding. It's a penny. Anyway, $10.42 per single. So you're saving like what? $2? Hang on. Hey, you're saving like $2 a stick if you buy it by the box at twoguyscigars.com versus buying the single. And, I would highly recommend it. I enjoy it. I've gone through multiple boxes of these cigars. So anyway, there's that. So we're going to give this guy a cut. And, doobie-doo. There we go. Give it a nice little clippy. And after we knock off the schmookus. Not a lot of schmookus, but some. We will now go ahead and listen to the greatest commercial you've ever heard while I light the cigar.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah. All righty. Well, let's just jump into it. It's time for a little Ask the Pulpit.
Shall we play a game?
You talking to me? I have a question for you.
You gotta ask me nicely.
Ask me about my winner!
You got a question? You ask the 8-ball.
Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on indeed. All right. We have some calls lined up here. I'm closing out a few windows in my phone because there's many windows open. Got some windows open there. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll jump right in to the first call here. Maybe.
Good day, Nick. This is Nick.
Oh.
In Texas.
Okay. Gotta back that up. Technical thing.
Good day, Nick. This is Nick in Texas.
What up, Nick?
I just wanted to share with you guys a entertainment report. If you are not listening to Project Hail Mary on an Audible book of some form, y'all are missing out. The movie comes out in late March with Ryan Gosling. I don't think the movie is going to do anything near what this book sounds like when you hear it in the Audible form. It is absolutely amazing. I was not a believer. My wife made me start listening to it, and now I can't stop, except for listening to the pulpit. You guys take it easy. Stay smoky.
That's awesome. I appreciate the call, Nick. I'll have to check that out because, I've got flights coming up to New Orleans for PCA and things like that, and so that'll be cool. I'll get that going. I've heard good things about some of the audiobooks on there. The ones I've been listening to have been very, oh God, I just hit my cigar with my cord. Thankfully, I didn't have a whole lot of ash going on it yet, so it didn't make a giant mess, but that could have been rough. Anyway, some of the ones that I've listened to on there, it's been fairly straightforward. It's just a guy reading a book. But I've heard about some of the some of the sci-fi and some of the fiction ones that have done more productions with their audiobooks. Everybody talks about the Dungeon Crawler Carl series and how those audiobooks are like really, really good. You're talking about Project Hail Mary, which I was interested in the movie. So now I'm going to have to check out the audiobook. So I appreciate that heads up. There's another one. We Are Bob, I think is the name of the book. And then there's subsequent sequels that I guess the audiobooks are really good. I don't know. Anyway, but I find it really interesting that they've made these elaborate productions out of the audiobooks. I think that's pretty cool. Kind of like a radio production in a way, which I think is neat. And obviously, as someone doing a podcast, I'm fascinated by, the idea of using like the audio format to create things. I think there's a lot of potential for going back to almost that old school radio drama and a radio show where it's like it's all being given to you in an audio format, but it formulates in your mind. I think that's really neat. There's a few podcasts that I've encountered over years that I think did a really good job with that. What was the one that I used to listen to? I fell out of it. But it was interesting. Welcome to Night Vale, I think was the name of it. That was interesting. It was weird. It was very weird. Radio Rental is another one that I really dug that was kind of like that. The dude from The Office was in that. The guy who played Dwight, Rainn Wilson. He actually had a thing in Radio Rental. I don't know. I appreciate the call there, Nick. I'm going to have to check out Project Hail Mary on there because I get credits every month on my Audible account. And I typically have just been buying historical or documentary or biography kind of things. But screw it. I'll check out Project Hail Mary. Like I said, the movie looks interesting. Although I kind of... I don't want to... It's not really a spoiler because it's in the freaking trailer. So anybody who's remotely interested in this is going to have known this already. I think it's kind of shitty, but maybe they did it on purpose in order to draw people to the movie. I wish they wouldn't have revealed that he encounters an alien. Because I think it would have been cooler if they would have sprung that on you. But maybe they wanted people to know that going in so that A, they might be more interested in going to see it, and B, maybe they thought that audiences might be like, what the fuck, if all of a sudden there's an alien showing up and, they thought it was a straight, science kind of, space movie. But I don't know. I wish I wouldn't have known. I think that would have been a really cool twist, for the story if all of a sudden there was just an alien and it's like, oh, shit. Anyway, all right. Thanks for the call, Nick. I appreciate it. Moving on now. We got another caller on deck.
Nick, James from California again.
What up, James?
Wow, another correction. I'm just having a blast listening to your most recent episode. Hot dog, thank God, doesn't shorten your life by 2 years.
Oh.
The study says, I'm going to read it verbatim if I can get this to operate at the same time. A 2021 University of Michigan study published in Nature Food suggests that eating a single hot dog can take away 36 minutes of healthy life, largely due to high levels of processed meat. Basically, it's like a dietary impact study, and they wanted to use scary language to keep people from, enjoying the 4th of July and, God forbid, you've got, picky eaters in your house and everybody's having like a normal, healthy meal, and you've got, that little one who's like, oh, I'm going to have a hot dog instead. Thanks, Pop, or whatever the deal is. So, but don't worry, you can counteract that. Substitute the calories that you would eat with, your hot dog on occasion with things like healthy fruits and nuts and blah, blah, blah. And you can add 43 minutes of good, healthy life. So just make sure you have, healthy snacks now and then, and keep eating hot dogs, and stay smoky and safe.
James, I haven't even heard the rest of the calls in this episode yet. There's more calls on deck. There's multiple calls on deck. But without even hearing them, I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that your call is probably my favorite. Because not only did you just free my mind of the idea that I have lost 2 years of life for every hot dog I've consumed. And let me tell you, I like my hot dogs. I know it's, lips and assholes and whatever, but God bless it, I like my hot dogs. I try to get the ones that are nearly rectum free. But I'll tell you, what you just told me is that not only can I eat a hot dog, but I can regain the time that I lose from that hot dog by having like a fruit salad afterwards. And I love fruit. So this is great. I get my hot dog and I get my fruit and I don't lose any time. In fact, I gain time based off what you said, because you said that you lose 36 minutes for a hot dog and you gain like 43 minutes for fruit. So as long as I just eat a copious amount of fruit after said hot dog, I might be picking up a couple minutes in the long term. This is not a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. I appreciate the call. That was a good call. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Moving on now. Let's get another call.
Hey, Nick. What's up? This is Dakota.
What up, Dakota?
I'll keep this brief. I already called, I think, about the video, the episode you did, the movie episode you did. And I just found out recently, I don't think I heard this on your episode. Maybe I just wasn't listening at the right time. But Scary Movie 6 is apparently coming out June 12th. And, the Wayans are in it, obviously. I think most of the main characters are in it. And I'm watching that. Because to this day, I quote the "Take My Strong Hand" all the time. It's hilarious. Anyway, peace.
Buddy, I did neglect to include that one on my list. And to be honest, I think when I made my list, I didn't know that they were involved. Since then, the trailer has come out. I've seen that. I know they're involved. I heard a little bit of the backstory. One of the Wayans brothers was on the Shannon Sharp podcast, and I saw a little clip from that where he was talking about how he got screwed by the company and kind of kicked out of the subsequent Scary Movies after 2. Anyway, I agree. I think it's a good thing. I am all in for Scary Movie 6. I worry that I'm not going to get all the references because, quite frankly, there's been a lot of horror movies that have come out, since the last Scary Movie that I went and saw and now. And, I haven't seen them because I'm not a horror movie guy. But what I am a fan of is absolute ridiculous comedy. And those movies definitely give you that. And so I will go see it purely to support that because I don't want that to go away. So anyway, I appreciate the call there, buddy. Moving on, we got another caller here.
Hey, Nick. Jeff calling from Minnesota.
What up, Jeff?
It's been a little while. Thought I'd just check in. I'm out in the smoke shack in this wet, cool Minnesota weather, staying dry, smoking an HVC edition Especial 2015. Great cigar. Really love these.
Sounds nice.
Hey, just wondering if you've ever watched on Apple TV Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I don't know if I've ever heard you talk about that one. Seems right up your alley. Godzilla plays a key role. A lot of titans, they call them, and these big underground monsters, for lack of a better word. interesting story. Bounces from, I think, 1945 up to 2015 or so. Couple of seasons underway. The new season's just coming out now. So just checking to see if that's something you've watched. Stay smoky, my friend. Hope to see you soon.
You know, Jeff, I appreciate the call. And it's funny that you call and ask about this, because just today, I was actually messaging with Seth from Connecticut, and he had asked me the exact same thing. And I told him what I will now tell you, which is I have not. It's on my to-do list. It's on my to-watch list, but I have not watched it. I am aware that the new season is hitting soon, and I've seen a little bit of, not full trailer, but like little clips and whatnot, and it looks pretty cool. I've seen the Godzilla movies, the ones that it kind of ties into. So, yeah, I think it would be right up my alley. I have not seen it yet, but I will check it out. I don't really know why I haven't seen it yet, other than I just haven't taken the time. But damn, this turned into a Villiger Entertainment Report. I should have played the thing from the start, but I didn't know. You know, this whole no screening thing, I didn't know. But anyway, yeah. Well, hopefully it's getting a little warmer up there for you, buddy. I mean, although it's if it's anything like, you know, here, it's it got warm, then it got cool, and then now it's getting warm again, and it's like, I don't know. It's so spastic. Who knows what's going on? But anyway, yeah, no, I'll check out Monarch. Truthfully, I need to kind of do an assessment on all of the different streaming services, and figure out what shows on there I want to watch. And maybe even try to do a little bit of digging to see what's coming to some of these platforms this year, so that I can assess it, because I think I need to start trimming down some of them. I have a number of them, and the problem is I don't watch. I mean, nobody can watch all of them all of the time. And I find myself spending a lot of time on HBO Max. I like Paramount because it's got all the Star Treks. But like Hulu, I can't tell you the last time I booted up Hulu. Netflix, if it weren't for, dinosaurs, which, you know, spoiler alert, I've been watching more of that. Dinosaurs and, Max's Storybots, truthfully, I probably wouldn't, you know, well, I guess Bridgerton, I have to keep up on Bridgerton. But realistically, yeah, Netflix is not one that I spend a lot of time on. It's very sporadic. I will spend a lot of time on Netflix until I watched whatever I'm watching, and then I go away and I don't come back for months and months and months and months. And then I come back, I watch one thing and burn through that, and then I go away for months and months and months. I can't tell you the last time I booted up my Apple TV subscription. I mean, you know, I obviously burned through Ted Lasso, and oh God, what was the show with the one dude? Started with an S, where they were at work and they didn't remember their home life, and shit. See, the fact I can't even remember the name of the show. It starts with an S. Not Succession. That was the one on HBO. Anyway, the bottom line is I couldn't even remember. I can't even remember the title. I liked it. It was a good show. Lord knows when the next season of that's coming, though. So yeah, now I do think Ted Lasso season 4, I think that might be coming later this year. I don't know how much. I don't know. I'm worried that it's going to be not as good as we all want it to be, because I think it's one of those things where there was so much demand that they finally were like, all right, fine, let's do it. I hope that's not the case. I hope that they actually have something legitimate to do and say with that show. But anyway, I need to assess my streaming situation, because I do think that I'm probably paying for things that I don't watch. Now, Amazon, truthfully, you know, that I get that strictly because I want the shipping deals for the products on Amazon, the TV and everything. That's bonus. So I'm not really particularly concerned about whether or not I'm spending money on that, because that's just what it is. But anyway, yep. So, all right, dude. Well, thank you so much for the call, and we'll talk soon. Hopefully, I think you're coming to Pulpit Fest, aren't you? I don't remember if you bought tickets or not, but if you didn't, you should. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a while ago since those went on sale, but all right, moving on. Another call.
What's up, Nick?
Dakota's back.
This is Dakota. So I'm calling because a gentleman, whom I always love when he calls, but I'm not going to say his name because I don't like calling folks out. But I'm just going to say this right now. Okay. You, sir, and you're going to know who you are after I say this. You, sir, are a sauce hater. You're just a sauce hater. Admit to your biases. It's okay. We all got things to work on. Just you hate all sauces. One of the very vast majority of them. Ketchup is not a sauce. It is a condiment, and in my opinion, it's an ingredient. If you're making sauces, ketchup is a great shortcut to add if you don't want to simmer down your own potatoes and a little bit of sugar to add a little bit of sweetness to your sauce.
I think you made tomatoes.
It's a great shortcut. But and I will say that there's specific fries. Now, well-cooked and seasoned fries do not need ketchup or really any sauce whatsoever. But if you get those boring fries that look like they're pan-fried and they're baked and they ain't got nothing on them, yeah, come on. A dollop of ketchup, just a dollop. Don't drown it. Ain't no point in drowning your potatoes. Potatoes are life, man. I swear, 16 of my blood is potatoes, and maybe that'll be a health concern in the future. But it doesn't matter. I'm Irish as all get out. So, yeah.
Oh, potato quality phone. Uh-oh. It's still running, but we're not hearing him.
That sweet chili oil and Greek yogurt and some mayonnaise, because I'm a big fan of mayonnaise. But anyway, yeah, and it has some other ingredients. It doesn't matter. Point is, it's okay, man. It's all right. We still love you. All right. Peace.
So random. This whole ketchup debate has gone way farther than I thought it was going to. This is really interesting to me. But yeah, I mean, look, I like ketchup. There are some times my fries are or side dish that I use the ketchup on. It serves no role other than just being a ketchup delivery device, because truthfully, you get some sides that are so freaking boring. Everything comes in a fucking Cisco truck. It's all frozen, and it comes in a Cisco Foods truck, and they just do it, and it's just blah, And I'm going to be sacrilegious for a moment. I'm going to say this. There's a whole lot of different fries that suck. I'm bored as hell with tater tots, because let's be real, they all everywhere you go, they taste the same. Find me a tater tot that is different. And I don't like overly seasoned shit, because I don't need a whole lot of salt. I don't like super salty fries. I like them to be lightly salted at best. I don't want a whole bunch of Cajun spices and various other bullshit on my fries or potatoes or whatever. If they're done so right, then they're so good. There is a bakery. Believe it or not, it's a bakery, but they make sandwiches and other shit at lunch. On the way to my printer, it's the what is it? U-Belts Bakery in Litchfield, Illinois. It's one of these towns. You're driving on 55. It's in between Springfield and here, and they've got some of the chain things off the highway. It's a place to stop and get food and gas, is what it boils down to. But U-Belts Bakery, Jubelts, U-Belts, not Jew belts, U-Belts. They make their fries are steak fries. Okay. So when you get a sandwich there, you get steak fries with it. They have the best steak fries. They have the best steak fries. I don't know what they do. They season them perfectly with the salt and whatnot. They're always cooked properly. They've got a little crisp on the outside, that soft potato on the inside. They don't need anything. I don't need ketchup at all when I eat at U-Belts. They are so good. I get that with the California Club sandwich, and I am a happy man. Also, that's where they make the cinnamon roll French toast, where they take the cinnamon roll. It's a already baked and iced cinnamon roll, and they cut it in half through horizontally, not vertically. And so it splits the top from the bottom, and then they dredge that in the egg, and they cook that up. They bake it or put it in the pan or whatever, and they make French toast out of that. And holy shit, guys, you haven't lived until you've had a cinnamon roll cut in half and made into French toast. The top with the icing gets all ooey gooey and soft and buttery and eggy, and it's so good. And that bottom gets that interesting little crunch, that crispiness to the bottom of it, because it's the bottom of the thing and it's been dredged and then it's done in the pan. And holy mother of God, it doesn't need any syrup. It's sweet enough as it is, but they give you syrup, but then they give you a big old glob of butter on there that just melts into it. And it is the best. It is straight up one of these things that if you haven't had it, you haven't fucking lived. You go to U-Belts for the cinnamon roll French toast, and you go to Good Morning in Millstadt, Illinois for cinnamon roll waffles. That's where they take an unbaked cinnamon roll. They put the dough, and it's rolled and everything, but they put that in the waffle maker, and they close that up, and they make a waffle out of a cinnamon roll. And son of a bitch, guys, it's so good. And I mean, let's be real. That's how I got to the point that I've been having to lose so much weight, is because I enjoy cinnamon roll waffles and cinnamon roll French toast, but it's so good. Anyway, sorry, that was a rant. The point is, they have really, really good fries at U-Belts. And so I agree with you, Dakota. You don't need ketchup if you have really good fries. The problem is 9 places out of 10 that you will go, I would even go so far as to say 9.5 places out of 10 that you go, will have basic ass frozen Cisco shit. And unless you go to one of those random good places, the ketchup is a requirement, because it kind of just helps. It helps, because otherwise it's just boring fried bullshit. I've been so bored with fries. So bored with fries. Not even the last year. It's been even longer than that, believe it or not. It's been longer. It's probably been at least 2 years now. I have been so incredibly bored with fries. I don't even do it. I avoid them. I'll try an onion ring, because every once in a while you find a place that's got a really good solid onion ring. But fries, fried potatoes, I'm bored with it. Absolutely bored with it. Because it's like I'm saying, it's the same shit everywhere you go. And I don't care if it's crinkle cut or shoestring or waffle. Waffle fries are a screw. You go to like Chick-fil-A and you get fries there, and you pay however much for a large fry, but because they're waffle shaped, they take up all that extra space in the little box, to where you get very little in terms of product. There's my McDonald's CEO reference right there. You get very little in terms of fries in the box. And whereas other places you go and you get it, they're long and they're skinny and whatever, and they'll jam them all in there and you'll get quite a few. But again, more is not necessarily better if they're shitty. So I don't know. I'm telling you, if you ever find yourself, and I doubt it, but I have some Illinois listeners, you guys might do it. If you ever find yourself driving by Litchfield, Illinois, swing by U-Belts, get yourself the cinnamon roll French toast, get yourself some steak fries, and try the sandwiches. I do love the California Club. It's really, really good. Yeah, otherwise, I'm kind of over a lot of potato products. someplace really has to wow me at this point with fries. At this point in my life, I have encountered enough fries. I'm bored with a lot of places with their fries. Anyway, I appreciate you calling there, Dakota. Okay, so let's see who is next here.
What's up, Nick?
It's Dakota again.
Dakota. How you doing? I don't know how many times I've called you, actually. But, you know, I have a thought. So, you know, in my job, my most favorite part of it is education, right? I like to educate the public, the kids, all that good stuff. I mean, that, you know, touches other parts of my life too, right? So I have a question. I know you were talking about creating a physical publication for, the cigar lounges, right? Any cigar lounge signs up for it will get a free number of copies or whatever to put out on the wherever they want to put it. Well, I was wondering, you know, if I wanted to spread the gospel of the pulpit.
Yeah.
Can I get those pamphlets? And I'm thinking now that I'm calling you that I could have emailed this to you. This could have been an email. And and my son walked into the store not paying attention that I stayed outside to talk on the phone. He said, "Where'd you go?" Anyway, so yeah, I need some of those little pamphlets, or what are those little flyers that anyway, it doesn't matter. So yeah, this could have been an email, and I could have emailed you, and you probably could just send me the PDF if that's okay with you, and I could print it. And then when I go to the lounge, I could be like, "Hey, have you heard the gospel of?" And then, you know, right there in front of them, and they could see it, and then tell them that it's free, and then they can kick me out for, I don't know, soliciting. I'm not soliciting because I'm not going to be asking for money. But anyway, point is, now that I've called, I guess I have put this earworm in other people's heads. And maybe, you know, that's just a thing that somebody else will want to do. So this will be an email. And what's your thoughts on us spreading the gospel of the cigar pulpit? Man.
I think it's a wonderful idea, Dakota. So yes, so so I've done the Cigar Chronicle newsletter now twice. There'll be, by the time 3 times it'll be out by now. So anyway, I've done the Cigar Chronicle digitally, and people can obviously sign up for that. They can head on over to cigarpulpit.com. The little box pops up. Put your email in there. Boom, you're on the list. Starting April, I will have a print version that I'm going to bring to PCA with me so that I can show to the manufacturers and say, "Hey, I have ad space available in this. Would you like to participate and help promote your brand to all these fine folks that will be seeing this?" Additionally, I will be showing it to some retailers. You know, I've been reaching out to retailers to try and build that list. In a perfect world, I'd like to start with 50 lounges. You know, I'm not going to say how many I'm at right now, but it's not 50. But that's okay. I'm just going to start. I'm going to get it going. But anyway, I do need, you know, there is a cost obviously involved in printing it. You know, my printer for the newspaper and I have talked about it. And so what's going to happen is he's going to print it for me. But yeah, I'm 100% on board with listeners. If you want to get copies, I can email you the PDF. You can print it. It is an 11 by 17 sheet of paper folded in half. So realistically, like when I printed it to have a prototype, I had to go to Office Max to print it because my home printer doesn't print that large. So fair warning there, Dakota. You know, there might be some of that. And to be honest, that wasn't the cheapest to do, but it's neither here nor there. We'll figure it out. The point is if folks would like to get copies to be ambassadors, to take them to their lounge and talk to your lounge owner and say, hey, this is a really cool newsletter that details what's going on in the cigar industry, gives some fun news that we can talk about, in the lounge, gives some trivia, gives some did you knows, that kind of stuff. My goal is to have maybe it depends on space and everything else, but like I love a good crossword puzzle. And I think the idea of having like a crossword puzzle or a word search or a Sudoku, one or the other. I don't know what game everybody likes more. I personally like crossword puzzles the best. But like, we put a crossword puzzle in the thing for the print version. And then that way when you're sitting around in the lounge, if let's say you're sitting there and you're by yourself, you can still interact with it by doing the crossword puzzle. Anyway, the point remains. Yes, send me if you want to do that. If you are, ambitious and you feel like doing that and helping me out, send me your address and send me your mailing address, and I will just mail you some copies. That way, you don't have to take on the expense of printing. And then I'll send you some. You talk to retailers and then whatever, and then you give me those retailers' names and addresses and contact information, so I, have them for being able to contact them. Then I can just send it directly to them if you want. It's what it is. But like, I would love assistance and help. I think it would be great. I don't know. You've got me thinking now, Dakota. Maybe I need to start like that's one thing I'll give McAuliffe Cigars a lot of credit for, is their ambassador program. Now, I'm not making up fancy coins to give to everybody, but maybe, just maybe, we need to come up with a parishioners ambassador program, where you're out there spreading the word, promoting the Chronicle newsletter, promoting the podcast, and just kind of that sort of thing. Whatever. Maybe, we could have a contest. We could have an annual contest. Who spread the word the most and in the most creative fashion? We could have categories. Most creative, most spread, that sort of thing. Whatever. I don't know. I like this. This is good. You've got my brain working here, Dakota. I like this. I like this a lot. This is good. This is a good thing. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the offer. Yes, I would love to have some assistance in spreading the word about this. Because I think, look, what's in it for me? Let's be real. I'll be blunt. What's in it for me? I want to sell X amount of advertising into it, so that it covers costs, and quite frankly, it helps me out because, guys, I will be brutally honest with you for a moment. I am entering my 12th year of printing a newspaper, a community newspaper. I cover city council. I cover schools. I have an article in this past edition 1 week ago about a woman who works at one of the schools who wrote some children's books, and we're promoting her children's books. I have obits. I have local sports. Little opinion pieces from not opinion pieces, but columns from like the library and the fire department and the parks department talking about what they've got going on in town, and it's all community news that these readers can't get anywhere else. They're not getting this, in any other publication. The bigger newspapers in my area, they're worried about what's happening in St. Louis. They're not worried about what's happening in, my area. Even on Facebook, some of this shit is hard to find, and people don't, dig into it and whatever. And God forbid anybody go to a local government meeting. But my point to that is, I'm entering my 12th year of printing and doing this. And, we were on a good track, and then COVID hit, and we were deceived. So 2020, we made some budget cuts and adjustments. That's when I got rid of my office. And that year ended up okay because of the budget cuts and various things. It kind of masked it. 2021, we received some PPP money. That money ended up not having to be repaid. Like a lot of businesses, they were able to get it and it was forgiven. And so that masked the impact of COVID on my publication in 2021. In 2022, I had a big legal notice. Legal notices are still a big thing for my publication. The way Illinois law is set up, courts, governments, things of that nature, they have to run public notices. And the way the law is set up, they have to run it in a printed periodical of general consumption. They can't just post it on their website. And that's for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is that, let's just hypothetically say there's a report that they have to publish, but maybe it doesn't put them in the best light. Well, you really think that school district or that government or somebody is going to, put it in a prominent spot on their website, or you think they're going to make it difficult to find? Additionally, maybe they put it up. Maybe they put it up, but 6 months later they take it down and nobody's watching. Nobody's paying attention. But if it's in the paper, if it's actually printed in the paper, there's a record, there's somewhere you can go back and you can get it. And it's fixed. It's printed. It's not digital. You can't go in and adjust numbers after the fact. It's printed. Anyway, I used to, pre-COVID, legal notices were gravy for me. I would get them, but it was always extra revenue. Between subscriptions and display advertising, the legal notices were just sweet extra money that came in to bump the budget. Now, plain and simple, I rely on legal notices to get by. If I don't have legal notices, I'm spent. I'm done. The display advertising has collapsed. And 2022, let me back up. 2022, we had a very large legal notice. My county assesses properties quadrennially, so every 4 years. So there was that. We're going to have another one, thankfully, at the end of this year. And truthfully, that's worth a lot of money. And it masked the lack of the declining display advertising. So 2023 all of a sudden comes out of nowhere and whaps me upside the head and says, hey, guess what? You've lost a lot of revenue over the last couple years, but you didn't pay attention and you didn't notice it. And now all of a sudden, boom, you're a lot in the hole. And so I've had to get creative the last couple of years. I've been selling, annual ad packages for deep discounts in order to raise money when I needed it. Tax time, things of that nature. But I'm selling ads for way less than what they're actually priced at because I'm just trying to get money in the door. And the bottom line is it's hard. It's been very, very hard the last couple years. Truthfully, since 23. And there are times that I'm not going to get into all the specifics. I'm not going to get into it. But it suffice to say, it's been difficult. And so, how do I even put this? I'm trying to figure out ways to diversify up my revenue. I have a problem where the things I like to do and the things I'm good at, they maybe intersect, but down here is that third circle that says things that make money, and it doesn't intersect. And so the Venn diagram meets at 2 points, but that third point just hangs out down there. And so the stuff I like to do and the things that I'm good at, just they don't bring in money. Now, could they? I mean, look, I could probably, find some marketing gig somewhere, telling you that you need to, your life is only good if you're buying this widget or promoting this thing. But, I want to be able to live with, I want to enjoy what I'm doing, and just general. And so anyway, my point to all this is, between the podcast and between the newsletter, look, is the newsletter going to bring me untold riches? No. But the newsletter can bring me a more revenue than what I'm currently making, based upon the amount of ad spots that I have available in it. And part of that is I have to get the damn thing into lounges and people's hands so that advertisers value the eyeballs that are seeing it. It's a simple equation. X number of people see this product. You have to be in this product so that you get your product in front of X number of people. This is what it costs for you to be in this project to get your, product in front of X number of people. Pay me. That gets you in front of these people. It's a simple equation. It's been the test of time. Be it email, the digital version, or the print version. It's all the same. And this goes back to what I was talking about in a prior, and I think the last Ask the Pulpit episode, about marketing dollars. And I don't understand how companies can look at a lean economic time and say, we have to tighten our belt. Where can we tighten our belt? Oh yeah, this is where we tighten our belt. Marketing. It makes no sense to me. Marketing is where you need to pump up your dollars in lean economic times, because you, Dakota, me, any other consumer out there, we have a finite number of resources as well. And when we're standing in the humidor, because we're not going to give up smoking. Let's be real. We're not giving up cigars. We're just going to buy less of them. So when we're standing in the humidor and we're trying to figure out, what am I going to buy? What am I going to smoke this weekend? What am I going to smoke now? What am I smoking today? And you're standing there and you're looking at all the brands. If X brand, if brand X decided, I'm going to find every avenue possible to pump marketing dollars into. And I am going to do my damnedest to get in front of every cigar smoker I can find. Because it might help me sell a few more cigars. They're going to sell more. It's going to happen. And studies have borne this out. It's true. It happens this way. But yet, for whatever reason, companies don't do it. And maybe they think, oh, I'm spending too much to get these few people. But it's not going to be. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. My point is, I'm not complaining. I'm just challenged. And, it's going to be what it is. But I appreciate the offer of assistance, because, Dakota, for every cigar lounge you help me get the Chronicle newsletter into, that's more people that encounter it. Hopefully more people that like it. Hopefully more people that think, hey, this is fun. Let me tune into this podcast, or at the very least, more people that read the newsletter, maybe take it home, whatever. And it's just more eyeballs that I can then go to. Hey, I'm smoking a Perdomo. Perdomo, you want to get in on the newsletter? We can talk. All these different companies, and say, hey, my newsletter is now in X number of lounges, seen by X number of people. My podcast is listened to this number of people. We can do a package deal. Let's figure out something like that. Look, I love doing this. I absolutely love doing this. But guys, I do 2 a week plus other stuff to where, yeah, you know what? If I'm going to dedicate that amount of time, I have to make sure that it's helping me out. And quite honestly, as the newspaper, chugs along, it'd be nice to like kind of balance things out a little bit to where, you know, maybe I'm not relying as much on the paper as I am now, because truthfully, I don't know what it looks like 10 years from now with the paper, you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, that's a whole different, way more depressing topic. And I just went down a big rabbit hole that I didn't mean to go down, but Dakota, you got me down it, and I appreciate the offer greatly. So, yes, anybody who wants to assist me in putting the Cigar Chronicle, the print edition, when that comes out in short order, into the hands of your lounge owners, and to say, hey, this is a newsletter. It's cigar news. The guy has no bias in terms of like what I don't like Gurkha. There's my bias. But you know what? I still list Gurkha when I have a thing in the newsletter that talks about new cigars that are coming out or have been announced. And you know what? Gurkha is in there. So it is what it is. I have my biases, but I'm a news guy. I can hide it, or at least not acknowledge it. So, you know, whatever. It's what it is. It's a fun newsletter that I think lounge owners will want for their customers, and we can just chill out and have a good time. And that's that. Anyway, all right. I have rambled all over the damn place on that one. Let's go to another call.
Hey, Nick, Boots here from West Virginia.
Boots!
For once, I actually get to smoke while I'm listening to you. But I listened to the episode with you and your dad. Number one, let me just say, I love listening to your dad talk. I learn so much, and his knowledge on economics is par none. Absolutely love it. And so I'm with you on the McDonald's thing. Here's my take on it.
Good.
They need to either adjust their prices so everybody loses less than a cent on it. They can figure that math out and figure what tax is going to be, and sure, nobody loses much money.
Bingo!
So they should adjust their prices for that. Or they make enough money and they should bite the bullet and round up or down or round up to nearest nickel. So if you get 1 cent, nope, now you get a nickel. And I get some people might take advantage of it, but they better figure that out on their own. That's for them to figure out and for price properly. Number two, I am so tired of people asking me to round up for some cause. And I have an understanding about this, and I would hope that somebody can prove me wrong or tell me I'm wrong. But my understanding is when a grocery store or some restaurant or fast food chains, these mega corporations, they will pledge a certain amount of money to an organization. So we'll say, okay, we're going to donate $100,000 to ALS. Well, when they take donations, my understanding is anything they get in excess of that $100,000, they get to keep. So not only do you not get the credit for donating, not only do you not get the tax exempt status, not only do they get the tax exemption for the donation. I say tax exempt status, obviously I didn't mean that. I mean the tax deduction. Mm-hmm. They get that, and my understanding is they get to keep everything in excess of that pledge or the dollar amount they pledged it to give.
Huh.
So anything donated towards that, if they raise $120,000, well, they just made $20,000 off a donation drive. That's my understanding, and I really, really hope somebody can tell me different. Lastly, maybe I'm late to the party, but this whole time I'm wondering who Jerry Pulaski is. Is Jerry Pulaski your father? Because there's a lot of speech similarities there.
No.
Maybe it's just a Wisconsin thing. I don't know. Either way, that's my 2 cents. Like I said, I'm really hoping somebody can call in and tell me I'm wrong, because I would love to be wrong on that aspect. I would hate to think people are making money off these donations. But either way, stay smoky. Have a great night.
Well, Boots, they are making money off of it, but I think they're making it through the means of being a tax deduction. I don't know the answer to that. I'm with you. I would sincerely hope that's not the case. I would hope that basically it's a situation where they say, we're raising money, and however much money is raised is however much money is raised. I would hope that it's not a finite amount of money that they pledge, and then anything above and beyond that goes into their pocket. I would think that would be extraordinarily unscrupulous. I would be shocked But then again, I live in a world full of the Epstein documents and everything else to where maybe I shouldn't be shocked by anything at this point. So yeah, I don't know. Regarding Jerry Pulaski, no, that is not my dad. That is definitely not my dad. Yes, that is not my dad. So, but I think he'll be amused to hear that you maybe thought he was. Anyway, but no, I would hope that that's not the case on those businesses. As for McDonald's, you're right. They need to adjust their prices to figure out with the tax. But the problem with that then becomes you lose uniform pricing across the country because sales tax rates are different all over the place. And so you lose the ability for the McDonald's that's, 2 blocks from me here to be the same price for a cheeseburger as the McDonald's that's an hour and a half north of me. And that I feel like that's something that they want to retain and keep. I don't know. I think the answer to that goes back to what you said about, they need to round. Realistically, and I just got done railing about this a couple episodes back, but realistically, they're going to end up in a position where they're going to lose a shit ton of money if they're constantly giving away that change. I get that Canada and all the economic people say that it balances out over time. It still bugs the piss out of me that I don't get my exact change. That bothers me. I also think it bothers me greatly that this is a step towards a cashless society. I had a listener send me an email about what a cashless society actually means, and it's pretty interesting when you really stop and think about it. It's like you just kind of think, when you're going out and getting food, you're using your phone to tap or you're using your credit card or debit card, but a cashless society actually legitimately means no cash. And so I'll read part of this email. Cash society means no cash, zero. It doesn't mean mostly cashless, and you can still use a wee bit of cash here and there. Cashless means fully digital, fully traceable, fully controlled. If you're struggling with your mortgage on a particular month, you can't just go and do an odd job to get you through and get paid a little bit of cash. Your child can't go and help the local farmer earn a little bit of summer cash. No more cash slipped into the hand of a child as a good luck charm or from their grandparent when going on holidays. No more cash in birthday cards. No more piggy banks for your child to collect pocket money and to learn about the value of earning money. No more cash for a rainy day fund, or for that something special that you've been sticking $20 a week away for. No more little jobs on the side because your wages barely cover the bills and put food on the table. No more charity collections. You can, I guess, but it's all rounding up your change on your debit cards and things like that. So now the corporations get to do all of the charitable donations, and I guess technically you can do whatever, but the Salvation Army guy standing out in front of the store ringing his bell, that's going to go away because there's no cash unless you're scanning an app and doing something that way, which is stupid. No more selling bits and pieces from your home that you no longer want and need for a little bit of cash in return. And then it goes into this. It talks about what a cashless society does guarantee. It guarantees that banks have full control over every single penny you own. Banks will have full control of your money because it's all digital. Every transaction you make is recorded. You can no longer do and I don't know how many of us really need, the ability to mask transactions. But you know what? As I say that, I can guarantee that a whole bunch of you listeners probably tell the cigar shop you don't need a receipt because you don't want to bring the receipt home in case your wife sees how much money you spent at the cigar shop. I know that's a thing. And I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm saying I know it's a good thing, or I know it's a thing. I know I did it back when I was married. I don't have to do it now. Hell, I want my receipts now because they're tax deductions, but that's neither here nor there. But now all of your transactions are going to be recorded. Your movements and actions are traceable because now they can trace your money and where you're spending your money. So now they know where you're at any given time. Access to money can be blocked at the click of a button when or if banks need clarification from you about, transactions that you might have taken. I know for a fact, just buying things online, my bank is so freaking tight with that. And like, I tried to purchase like a wallet online, and the wallet company, I guess, was based in Spain. And because it was an overseas transaction, my bank, said they declined it. And, it's night. I'm not able to call the bank and tell them, no, this was me, whatever else. They send me the text asking if it was me, and I say yes, but it doesn't mean it opens it up to where then they let me do the transaction after that. I still have to call and tell the bank, it was me, I want to do this, So I didn't do it. So that company lost a sale because I wasn't able to do it with my debit card. And there's that. The government will decide what you can and cannot purchase because it's tied in and it's all online. Look, I'm not saying that any of us are going out and buying illicit, illegal shit, but at least right now you have the ability to with cash. Your crack will not be able to be purchased with a debit card. And finally, if your transactions are deemed in any way questionable by those who create the questions, your money can be frozen for its own good. Now, look, does this sound like giant conspiracy theory shit? It kind of does. But on the flip side, look at the freaking world we live in right now, guys. Look at the world we're living in. And tell me that this doesn't make a certain amount of sense. They sold the idea of digital currency, Bitcoin, various things like that, to us as a way to say it's a decentralized thing. You contain it, blah, blah, blah. It's not regulated by the, and all that. And it was supposed to be this great equalizer currency. But government's getting involved in all that too. So don't think for a moment that that's going to be safe. So I don't know, guys. It's an interesting world we live in right now. And it's an interesting world we live in. And I would hate to think that we're going to go cashless because I think cash has a necessary, important role in our life. And I would hate to see that disappear. But as I researched this about the penny, I find out that it costs, X amount for us to print a nickel. So let me find that real quick. I have it actually really close. In 2024, it was costing around 14 cents for every 5-cent coin that we were making, according to the mint. So, at what point do they say the nickel's next? We don't need the nickel. We're just going to go dimes and quarters. And then eventually dimes will disappear. And then quarters will disappear. And at some point they will say, you know what? We've gotten rid of pocket change as a whole. Let's just go ahead and get rid of the currency too. We'll make the dollar a digital currency situation. It'll exist, but it'll be digital, and it'll just be the name and the terminology we use to describe our United States currency. But it's going to be digital, and it'll all be on your phone. It'll all be in your digital wallet and blah, blah, blah. And eventually that's where we'll be. And it's a spooky thing. It's a spooky thing. I don't know. Anyway. All right. Thanks, Boots. You got me all ramped up. Appreciate it. All right. One more call, and then we're moving on.
Tracts. That's what they're called. Tracts. Tracts, or gospel tracts. That's the little bitty books with the little bitty stories, usually like comic strip type things that the usually Christians, but any type of religion will hand out to you to, spread the word. Gospel tracts. All right.
What the hell? What are you talking about, Dakota? Was that in reference to the last call about spreading the word of the pulpit there? Okay. All right. Whatever, man. Whatever. That seemed a little random. I'm not going to lie. I'm not entirely sure where that one came from, but hey, I appreciate the call nonetheless. Guys, thank you for your calls. This was fun. I had some good rants there. You can call the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. You can get your calls in for the next time I do this. Once again, that's 863-874-0000. All righty. Well, let's do this now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarillo manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. What have I been watching lately? So, I finished Dinosaurs, and it had all that good dinosaur action. If you like dinosaurs, you're gonna like Dinosaurs. And then I circled back to, you have comfort food in life, right? You got those dishes that when you have it, you're just like, it just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And you're just like, oh man, it doesn't matter what you're feeling like. It's like, oh, I want that. That will always make me feel good. Well, you also have some pieces of entertainment that are like that. Some things that you circle back to when you're sitting there and you've got your cigar and it's later in the evening. You don't really feel like starting a new show because, you just want that comfort food. So I booted up Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. And it's the last movie that they did with the original cast. And it's the first Star Trek movie I saw in the theaters. It would have come out in... Oh, shit. What year did that come out? 1990 what? Let's look. 1991. Came out in 91. And it was the final film featuring the original cast, directed by Nicholas Meyer, where the Enterprise crew must prevent a conspiracy from sabotaging a historic peace treaty between the Federation and the Klingon Empire after the Klingon Chancellor is assassinated. Kirk and McCoy are framed for the murder, leading Spock and the rest of the crew to uncover a plot of hardline Klingons to reignite war with themes of political mistrust and the end of the Cold War. And that's what I think is so cool about this movie. So when I watched this movie, when I was 9 years old, I thought it was a cool movie. I thought it was interesting. You got ships, you got battles, you got blasters, you got all kinds of cool shit going on. But looking at it through adult eyes, what I love about this movie is that once again, Star Trek does what Star Trek is so good at, which is take current day relevant political and social themes and make a good science fiction story out of it that reflects what's going on in the world at the time. If you go back and watch the original series from the 60s, the Federation, Kirk and everybody, they're the United States. They're the good guys. They're out there exploring. And the Klingons were the Russians. We were in the Cold War. We were in a war with the Klingons, or in this case, the Russians. Then there's the Romulans, who were the Chinese, because when they first appeared in the show, the whole thing was, it's been so long since we've encountered them. There are no records of what they even look like. We don't know anything about them. We don't know their language. We don't know shit, blah, 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 and all this kind of thing. And then we finally encounter one in one of the episodes. And that's when you find out that they look just like Vulcans, because they're the splinter group of the Vulcans. But that's neither here nor there. Point is, they represented the Chinese. And so that's kind of the political makeup of the big three races from Star Trek. But then, you have all these episodes where they get into racism and women's rights and all sorts of different issues that were relevant in the 60s. And they did that, and it made it a very topical show, at the time. Well, they continued that further, and it kind of culminates in Star Trek VI, 1991. What's going on in the world in 1991? Well, the Berlin Wall has fallen. Russia is collapsing under itself, or I should say the Soviet Union is collapsing under itself, and thus having to figure out a new way of life. The Cold War is coming to an end by this point. And so Star Trek VI is basically the Star Trek version of the end of the Cold War. It starts with the Klingon moon of Praxis, which is one of their key energy sources for their empire, having an accident and exploding to where tons and tons of Klingons die. There's a small sliver of the moon left, and it's a giant emergency. And because it did that, it exposes the weakness of the Klingon Empire and how basically, they figure in 3 generations the Klingon Empire is going to be dead unless peace is achieved. And so Praxis is Chernobyl. Praxis represents the Chernobyl accident. The Klingons are the Russians. They need help. And so you have Chancellor Gorkon of the Klingons meeting with Spock at the behest of his father, who is the Vulcan ambassador, to try and begin a dialogue between the Federation and the Klingons to establish peace. And Kirk is kind of roped into this because they have to go and escort Chancellor Gorkon to the peace accords. And Kirk is a cold warrior, man. His kid was killed in Star Trek 2 or Star Trek 3 by the Klingons. So he doesn't trust these Klingons at all because, by God, they killed his kid. And he's been fighting them his entire career. Chancellor Gorkon flat out says it to Kirk at one point. If peace is achieved, it's our generation that's going to have the hardest time dealing with it. Because that generation has been the one that's been fighting their entire lives. And so, anyway, the long and short, it progresses. There's Gorkon's assassinated. It becomes this whole thing. It makes it look like Kirk and the Enterprise did it. And then a mystery revolves in giant conspiracy and this and that and whatever. And eventually it all comes together and, you have peace in the galaxy. But it's a strained peace because it's one of those things. Again, you have people on both sides that they're not really sure this is a good thing, but it's something they have to do. And anyway, it's a really fascinating movie. It's a good movie. It's entertaining. But it's fascinating when you look at it through the historical lens of what was going on in the world at the time that this movie was written and made, because basically it mirrors a lot of the actions taking place in the world with the end of the Cold War. I don't know. It's it's fun. It's really fun to watch and to encounter it that way. So anyway, that's what I watched, and that's our Villiger Entertainment Report.
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week, and I can tell you, the first one that I smoked and enjoyed was a Perdomo 10th anniversary champagne. That is one I used to smoke the absolute living shit out of that cigar. And palate changes, you move on, you find other things, you experiment and whatever else. And it fell out of the rotation. But it's one that every once in a while I like to go back to and to smoke. And I had a couple of them over the course of the last week or so. And by God, it was a fine cigar, and it's good. And it's different than some of the other Perdomos. Like, I'm smoking the Habano Sungrown, which is is my current go-to Perdomo. But that champagne, man, it was a tasty cigar. The next one that I smoked that I really enjoyed, I got my hands on the Pulpit Parishioners 2025 Cigar of the Year, and I had an Aladino 85th. Such a good cigar, such a different flavor, well made. There's not a lot of cigars that I would say are worth the money when you get to about $20. And it's not that, and truthfully, I can't afford to smoke it on the regular, but every once in a while, it's nice to. And so I don't have a problem with spending $20 on that cigar. Do I wish it was cheaper? Of course I do. But, I don't have a problem spending $20 on that cigar and smoking it. So yeah, the Aladino 85th. And then the last one that I smoked, again, trying to keep my dollar cost average down a little bit right now, with taxes, coming up and everything else. It's like everything costs money, and I'm trying to stay a little cheap. And, I'll tell you what, the Metropolitan Habano from Ferio Tego, that cigar, it smokes so wonderfully. I get good flavor from it. I get a decent amount of time out of it. I like it. And it is just, it's a very unassuming, quiet. It's there. It doesn't make a lot of noise. When these brands, they have their cigars that they push and they whatever. And, to Michael Herklotz's credit, the Metropolitan, he does a fine job with it. Obviously, he wants you to smoke the other Ferio Tegos, the Suma and the various other ones that they've got. And don't get me wrong, those are fantastic cigars. But for the price point, man, that Metropolitan Habano, it smokes so good, and I like it, and so I smoked that. So those are my 3 cigars that I smoked this week. Alrighty, it's Tuesday. Now, you know what that means. Or maybe you don't. But give it a few weeks and you will. It means it's time for another lemonade review. Yes, I'm still doing this. I'm going to continue to do this. So last week, I unveiled this, and I went through the whole story. So if you want to hear it, go back to last week's episode if you didn't listen. And if you did listen, then you know the story. Bottom line, I'm trying to find a lemonade that's comparable to the La Giana lemonade that they sell at Two Guys Cigars. That lemonade is freaking great. I would love to get cases and cases and cases of it here, but Lord knows what it would cost for me to have that shipped from New Hampshire. And I do know what it would cost for me to get some from the private label place that Dave got it from. And that is not within my feasible means. And so I'm looking for a comparable lemonade that I can get around here that I enjoy. Last week, we tried the Milo's brand lemonade. And it was good. It was good. Gave it an 8. It was the first one that I reviewed. I gave it a baseline. It was an 8. Could have used a little bit more sugar, but that's neither here nor there. We don't want it to be like, super ridiculously sweet. But on the flip side, I do like my lemonade to be a little sweet. So today, we have another entry. Now, I don't know if this is a local thing, like a Midwest thing, or if this is available all over the place kind of thing. But this is one I picked up in my local grocery store. And it is Prairie Farms lemonade. It comes in a little, look at this, it's a quart, but it comes in like a little, like, almost looks like a gallon, jug, like a milk jug, but it's a little baby milk jug, and it's cute. Anyway, this lemonade actually has more juice than the Milo's. The Milo's was 11% juice. This is 15% juice. Ingredients: water, sugar, lemon / orange juice, concentrate, citric acid, lemon pulp, and natural flavors. So you have the orange mixed in on this one that you did not have in the Milos. But, you know, like I said, this one's 15%. That was 11%. But anyway, we're going to give this guy, give it a little shake. I don't know why. Maybe get that pulp moving. We're going to crack it. And we're going to try. We are going to try the Prairie Farms lemonade to see how this is in comparison to the Milos. Again, the Milos got an 8. What will Prairie Farms get? We will see. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. Okay, Prairie Farms. Prairie Farms is bringing the A game here. Okay. All right. Gonna cap that back up because I'm not drinking the whole thing now. That's a lot. I'm gonna be peeing lemonade all night. That is better than the Milos. They have made it sweeter. You still get that lemonade tingle, but it's not as tingly as the Milos was. This is definitely more in my lemonade wheelhouse. A little bit more sweetness to it. A little softer on the palate, too. The lemonade, the Milos was, it was a little bit more bitter. It was lemony. This one, it's lemony, but it's a little more subtle with it. And I plain and simple, there's more sugar in this. I can tell. If the Milos was an 8, boy, I'm going a solid 9 for the Prairie Farms. I'm going to 9. I'm going to 9. I want to go higher, but I've only reviewed 2, so I want to like leave myself some wiggle room because I'm on the hunt for these lemonades now, and I'm finding like boutique-y, you know, like little bottles and all kinds of stuff, and so it's like, you know, I don't want to like box myself in by saying, oh my God, the Prairie Farms at 9.75, you know, because that, Lord knows, I might find something else that has to squeeze in that little 0.25 that I've left myself. So I'm going to say 9. But, yeah, Prairie Farms, it's superior to Milos. Now I know. All right. This is good. This is definitely good. Mentally, as I was drinking that, this reminds me of the La Giana lemonade. So I may very well have found it in 2 weeks, but I don't think I'm not going to commit to that. One thing I will say about the La Giana lemonade that I like, it comes in a glass bottle. And this in the plastic. There's something about a glass bottle that just like, oh man, it just makes the drink so much better. You know? Anyway, no, for what it's worth, I'm digging it. Prairie Farms, solid 9. Like I said, I don't know if any of you guys have Prairie Farms in your area or if that's a St. Louis Midwest thing. If it is, sucks to be you, nerd, because I have good lemonade and you don't. But anyway, yeah. All right, guys. It's that time where I tell you I am available. Oh, God, this thing is blowing smoke right at me. I don't know why the wind has shifted in my garage to do that. I am available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. It's a private group in order to keep the metabots, you know, happy. So find the group, request, access. I'll put you in there and you can start sharing pictures of what cigars you're smoking and everything else. I'm on Twitter /X. You can watch this on Rumble and YouTube. Don't forget, every Wednesday, I put out a new drive time review on Rumble and YouTube and TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I feel like the old man in the room with it. I don't think I'm using it anywhere near to the potential that it is, but I am on TikTok. So for what it's worth, you can follow the Drive Time Reviews on TikTok. What else? Ask the Pulpit. You can call the hotline. Area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Or Tofu Pie, P-I, not P-I-E, Tofu Pie at 0000. And then finally, as I talked about earlier with the Cigar Chronicle newsletter, if you want to get the digital edition, go to cigarpulpit.com. Little pop-up box comes up. Put your email in there, and you'll be all set and ready to go. Guys, I appreciate all of the calls. These episodes are always so much fun. They go in all sorts of different directions. I enjoy them greatly. Keep them coming. I appreciate all of the input and calls, and we'll go from there. Guys, thank you so much for taking time out. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody, stay safe, stay smoky. Oh, yeah, and final thought on my Perdomo Habano Sungrown. I love this cigar greatly. I smoke it all the damn time. I think at this point, when I say what flavor I get Perdomo Habano Sungrown, bourbon barrel aged, whatever. I'm just kind of used to this cigar greatly. There is a pepper component to it, but it's just a really, really fine, good cigar. It's perfect for me for all sorts of daily, activities and use and just sitting and chilling. So, I smoked the hell out of it. Obviously, it was my top smoked cigar of the year for 2025. It's got to be in the running for 2026 at this point. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Take it easy.